When I ask you, what are functional workouts? What comes to mind? Many fitness gurus will try to convince you that functional workouts mean balancing on a BOSU ball while squatting a weight overhead and juggling 6 kittens simultaneously. But the truth is, that's about as unfunctional as it gets, unless you're literally a circus clown. In this video, we will uncover the truth about functional workouts and give you some actionable advice so you can train for function without the circus tricks. Stay tuned. So what are functional workouts? Well, the question is, functional for what? Functional for my grandma is different than functional for a bodybuilder. Functional for a gymnast is different than functional for a marathon runner. Functional for you may be different than functional for me. For this video, which is made for the general population, I'm defining functional as the type of workouts that best prepare you for daily life and best prepare you for a wide variety of sports. In other words, if you do this functional exercise, you'll be well prepared for life and sport. In sports terminology, we call this general physical preparedness, or GPP. You are generally prepared for whatever you're most likely to encounter in life and athletic activities. Right here, you can already see why most functional workouts are in fact not functional. After all, when was the last time you found yourself balancing on a balance ball with 6 stretchy bands attached to every limb, hoisting a weight over your head? What's that you say? What's that you say? You've never done that in real life? Well, then maybe you should never practice that in the gym. Even if Tracy, the trendy YMCA fitness instructor, tells you it's part of the gym's new cutting-edge functional fitness program. So if functional exercise isn't circus tricks on a BOSU ball, what is it specifically? World-renowned athletic development coach Vern Gambetta says it's an integrated approach to training that involves multiple body parts and multiple planes. In other words, it's about mastering basic movement patterns like squats, lunges, pushing, pulling in a variety of directions. These foundational exercises form the bedrock upon which more advanced functional exercises are built. In simple terms, most functional exercises fall into one of the 7 movement patterns: squatting, lunging, pushing, pulling, bending, twisting, and gait. When you do functional exercise, the goal is to prepare you for activities like picking things up, carrying things, pushing and pulling things, walking, running, sprinting, and having the general physical preparedness, the GPP, to play a variety of sports. And if you do these movements with a full range of motion, ROM, something we specialize in here at Got ROM, you will also increase your flexibility and mobility. So how do these 7 patterns translate into an exercise routine in the gym? Can you pick up any old bodybuilder routine and start doing the leg curl and chest press machine until the cows come home? Not so fast, bucko. The heart of functional exercise is not just those 7 patterns, it's those 7 multi-joint movements done mostly with free weights in multiple planes. Mike Boyle, another legendary sports performance coach, stresses the idea of training movements, not muscles, and emphasizes the importance of free weights for their balance and coordination benefits.
If you look at what we've done, we've got an explosive power exercise done. We've gotten an upper body pulling exercise done. We've gotten a knee dominant exercise done. We've gotten a hip dominant exercise done. And we've got our upper body press done. This type of combination of exercises can give us a tremendous amount of bang for our buck, provided we've got a good, proficient lifter.
In other words, instead of isolating specific muscles on a machine, functional training focuses on compound movements like pulling, pressing, and lifting in various directions, and including an appropriate balance challenge. This approach trains muscle groups in harmony, leading to better overall strength, mobility, and stability that carries over to real life. With that said, there's always exceptions. Some isolated strength work on a machine can be found in almost any functional exercise routine. It just shouldn't be the main dish for the majority of people. For example, if my grandma doesn't feel comfortable deadlifting in the free weight section of the gym, but is happy trying the leg curl machine to start, I'm not going to force her to do what I think is technically better at first. I am going to start strengthening her muscles with some isolated machine work, and then gradually warm her up to the idea of free weights and more complex movement patterns. Similarly, if you're an athlete, and by the way, if you have a body, you're an athlete, and you have a weak point in the shoulder, core, or glutes, we might include some isolated work for those areas, in addition to your squats, your deadlifts, lunges, push-ups, pull-ups, running, jumping, and core work. What's the purpose of all this functional exercise anyway? Some people joke that it makes them harder to kill. I like to think of it as simply making me anti-fragile. Because I exercise in this way, I rarely get hurt, I get to enjoy a lot of sports, and I live a very active, healthy life. To give you one simple example, think about lifting a heavy box. If you do it incorrectly because you haven't practiced squatting, deadlifting, or carrying heavy objects, you're likely to overuse and potentially strain your lower back muscles. The worst case scenario is you might even rupture a disc and make yourself bedridden for a couple of weeks or longer. But if you've been focusing on functional movements in your training, you'll be way more comfortable lifting that suitcase or box properly by using your entire body with good technique. You'll simply walk over to it, squat or deadlift it from the floor using all your muscles in harmony, like you've practiced 1,000 times in the gym, and put it where it needs to go. I apologize in advance when all your friends ask you to help them move boxes, couches, and refrigerators. But hey, at least you can take pride in knowing that you've built a body that is capable of doing all that. So how do you create a functional exercise routine? To start, let's hone in on your personal goals and identify any weak spots in your body. Are you after more strength or more endurance? Do you have any past injuries you should be mindful of? Once you've got that sorted out, you can start to customize a routine that's perfectly tailored to you. Most people should kick things off with the classics. Warm-up, mobility, speed, and power work for 20 to 30 minutes. The warm-up can be walking, jogging, skipping, running. That's the gait we talked about. Flexibility and mobility drills, and then getting into the sprinting and jumping for 5 to 15 minutes. Strength training, which could look like dumbbell squats, push-ups, one-leg deadlifts, pull-ups or rows, split squats or lunges, bicep curl to overhead press, and then a little bit of isolated core and glute work in a circuit. Finishing with cardio for your heart and lungs for 10 to 15 minutes. This could be jogging, running, hiking, jump roping, playing a game. In total, this whole routine could take you 60 to 90 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. As you can see from the above routine, we include a lot of compound movements with free weights in multiple planes of direction, aka functional exercise. And of course, if you've got any specific areas that need extra love, like those shoulders, core, or glutes, we'll throw in some targeted exercise to give them the TLC they deserve. This isolated work will not only amp up your overall strength by talking to some often undertrained areas, but also keep those pesky injuries at bay. Incorporating enjoyable activities at the end of the workout can be fun. Running, jumping, or playing a game can add a fun element to your routine and help you stay consistent in reaching your long-term goals. In conclusion, hopefully you've seen that functional exercise is not about BOSU balls and circus tricks. It's about multi-joint movements and mostly using free weights in multiple planes. This makes you stronger, more resilient, and yes, harder to kill. If you need help with functional fitness, injury recovery, or flexibility, check out our top-rated 45-day programs at gotrom.com. And if you're looking for more personalized one-on-one coaching to fix a chronic pain or injury, book a free 15-minute call with me at gotrom.com/VIP. And as always, remember you're just one step away from building or rebuilding your perfect body. Here are some of my favorite quotes about functional training. From the legendary Mike Boyle, functional training is described in what it is not. It is not bodybuilding, it is not Olympic lifting. It is training designed to improve function to make daily tasks easier. Functional training is about improving function, i.e. the quality of movement. We need to think about making our clients better instead of just making them tired. Gray Cook says, our job is to give the organism as many degrees of freedom as possible to perform the task in any given environment. That's functional training. If we do not increase movement availability so the nervous system can select the movement pattern it needs in the given environment, then we haven't done our job. That is our job, to give the organism as many degrees of freedom as possible so the nervous system can select its appropriate movement pattern given the task and the environment. That's functional training. Boom. Boom! Cue explosions. Huzzah!